the Vols have absolutely lost a ton in the transfer portal when it comes to basketball. What the H? How do they replace basically half a team from last year's Elite Eight crew?
What the? What was he thinking?
Release the hounds.
The Dave Hooker Show.
Keep cool.
A presentation of OffTheHookSports.com.
Okay, we got three cats that Tennessee is going to keep a close eye on in basketball transfer portal time. But first, if you can give me a background, who all have they lost? And who do you think was the most significant? I would probably go Awaka, but you might be able to change my mind.
I would go Adu, but given why he hit the portal, I think he was running. And if a player is going to run because he gets heat, you don't want him on your team anyway. But yeah, but
it's kind of where I was too.
Yeah, so Jonas Adu, Toby Awaka, Freddie DeLeon, and DJ Jefferson are the four that entered the portal. 3 made sense. 1 was running.
Igor Milicic Jr. Igor, what will he be able to do for his chosen college football basketball team as he is making the rounds right now in the transfer portal world?
So Igor Milicic Jr. comes from Charlotte. He actually initially played for Virginia and transferred to Charlotte, and now he's transferring again. He averaged 12.8 points and 8.5 rebounds last year, over a block a game too, and also shot 81.8% from the free throw line. He's a big 6'10", 224. So he can definitely help Tennessee. Dave wants to play a little bit of inside-out basketball. And that's what Dave loves, guys. I don't know if you know. He's always go hard in the paint. And Igor Milicic Jr. could definitely help with that. Again, you wonder how they would do at the next level. But at 6'10", 224, shooting and having that level of finesse from the free throw line, if JP Estrella develops and Rick Barnes has his 2 bigs for next year, if they could get Igor.
Yep, and as far as we got some more transfer portal news as well, but
I meant to add, he also hits 2 threes a game, so he's really good from 3, so he can stretch the floor as a big.
Yeah, and according to Vol Scoops on Twitter and Tennessee Rivals recruiting writer Shane Pickering, the 6'10", 224-pound forward from Germany plans to visit UT like any day. It's worth noting that they haven't been confirmed yet. These reports haven't been confirmed. Regardless, it would be the 3rd portal visitor for the Hoops program within a week if Milicic does indeed visit after already reported duo of Hofstra's Darlin Stone Dubar, who is 14th in the CBS portal rankings, and Belmont's Cade Tyson, who is 16th in the CBS portal rankings. So I know we've got some more guys we want to touch base on, but those guys that have just come through that I just mentioned, and I'll repeat the names for you again as my computer's gone insane. Let's go with Cade Tyson first, 16th overall before we get to Darlin Stone Dubar.
Gotta love those Belmont kids, man. Cade Tyson comes from Belmont. Dave, he is 6'7", and he shoots 46.5% from 3. I mean, that's incredible. Also averages 6 rebounds a game. I'm just going to tell you guys, if they get Cade Tyson, he's their Dalton Knecht for next year. They got the next.
I'm going to stop you right there. And I love you to death, but the bottom line is
that's crazy.
There's not going to be a Dalton Knecht this year. There's going to be a group of guys who fill in that sort of productivity. There is not going to be one Dalton Knecht guy this year.
We're disagreeing. There will. It'll either be Cade Tyson or it'll be Darlin Stone Dubar, who is 6'6", shoots right at 40% from 3, averages over 2 a game, and averaged 17.8 points this past year. These are the exact profiles of Dalton Knecht. Okay? It's the same profile. They want to go, they're experienced, they want to develop and fine-tune a part of their game. They're wings who can score from anywhere on the floor, who are elite shooters, and they will embrace and buy into what Rick Barnes is doing. By the way, let's be honest, Dave. Given the profiles I just gave you, 6'6", 6'7", elite from 3, scores, the success of Dalton Knecht is why they're looking at Tennessee, right? That's why they're looking at Rick Barnes right now.
Well, sure, but let's be honest. I mean, how many Dalton Knechts have there been over the past 5 years of college basketball, or since
None,
the
but it's
transfer portal opened? I mean, it's not going to happen every year. There's not going to be an elite scorer go someplace and change a team's fortunes in the NCAA tournament, which is essentially what he did. They just didn't end up winning the Elite Eight.
I'm telling you, there is going to be more Dalton Knechts in the future with a guy like Rick Barnes, an elite scorer who's been in college for 3 and 4 years, who just wants to fine tune a part of his game. And he goes and transfers to Tennessee because of what Barnes did. And he buys into Rick Barnes' system and he becomes a star. The reason one and dones never work in Rick Barnes' system is because, let's be honest, Dave, one and dones never really buy into any system, and they're not going to buy into Rick Barnes' system. So I think one of those guys would commit to Tennessee and be the next Dalton Knecht.
Okay, here's the name. Kentucky freshman DJ Wagner, former 5-star recruit McDonald's All-American, entering the transfer portal, according to a source telling 24/7 Sports. 6'3" guard out of Camden, New Jersey, started in 28 games for the Wildcats, averaged almost 10, almost 2, almost over 3. So 9.9, 1.1 rebounds, 3.3 assists. And he is the son of former Memphis star DeJuan Wagner, who played for John Calipari with the Tigers. Despite Calipari's move to Arkansas, Wagner's options will be completely open upon hitting the portal market, and also plans to meet with new Kentucky head coach Mark Pope. You think there's a chance that Tennessee could get in on this? He was a 5-star guy, rated as the number 6 overall prospect in the 2023 class.
See, I don't think DJ Wagner is the type of player that Tennessee wants to get in on. I don't think he'd fully buy into what Rick Barnes is trying to do. I mean, I know he's not a one and done. He would be a sophomore this year, but still, Dave, freshmen or sophomores, they're both, the maturity level is so different for either of them than it is for a junior or a senior. And for Rick Barnes to plug one of those like 5-star young guys into his system, they never properly buy in. And so I think it would clash and create issues chemistry wise, very similar to, I believe it would have been back in 2000 when he was at Texas years ago. There was Miles Turner. This is what got Rick Barnes fired. He went to the second round of the NCAA tournament in 2014, returned everybody, and then added 5-star Miles Turner. So there, everybody's like, oh, he's got all this experience plus a new 5-star. He's got a top 5 team. Then he flamed out in the first round of the NCAA tournament because Miles Turner clashed with the rest of the team at Texas, because the one and dones just don't work. I keep saying it. They don't work for Rick Barnes. They just don't. And the 2 and dones too. And so DJ Wagner would be 2 and done, but still.
What about Roddy Gale Jr.? What can you tell me about him? I don't think we mentioned him yet, have we?
No, most proven at the next level. He's another scorer, averages 13.5 points a game. He's 6'4", 205. He averages 4.5 rebounds, over 3 assists, which is pretty impressive for a combo guard. You know, the concern is he was 43% from 3 his freshman year. And this past year, he dropped to 28.4% from 3 and was 83% from the free throw line. But Dave, honestly, I think it was just bad luck. I think shots weren't falling. I think he's not going to be a 28%.
Wow, that's like a 15% bad luck drop off. It's a lot of bad luck.
I know, but he's so good from the free throw line. He's 83% from the free throw line. It just seemed like it was just a rando drop off for him. And he's a sophomore, so if he committed, I do think he would buy into what Rick Barnes does as a junior. So I think that, again, he's not as exciting as the 2 guys I named, Cade Tyson and the Hofstra kid, but I still think he's the most proven because he played at Ohio State. So I think he could actually work out.
Well, this is not going to get nearly the pub because of what Tennessee's lost and then what Tennessee did in the NCAA tournament recently. But how important is it for the Lady Vols to hit the ground running and get some momentum either in recruiting or in a transfer portal situation?
Oh, it's crucial. The whole goal for the Lady Vols is to win now. That's what they've been saying. They want to win immediately. Can't win immediately if you don't hit the portal. I mean, I agreed with John on this. If they want to make a splash early on the court, they can't do it with this roster, especially given the Kim Caldwell style of play. They just won't be able to do that. So I think that's Yeah, I think that's going to be that. There's going to be some pressure on them in the next couple of weeks. That's the truth. But then again, Josh Heupel got wrecked in the portal and with a ton of talent and turnover when he took over at Tennessee, and then went 7-6 his first year, which is still that was a miracle working job that he went 7-6 in 2021. He should have been coach of the year for that.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I can't argue with any of that. Now, there, as far as the top 10 players in the 2024 women's college basketball transfer portal, do want to give you a couple of names real quick towards the top. You have the number 1 overall player is going to be Georgia Amore, grad transfer from Virginia Tech. She's going to Kentucky. And then you have Grace Van Slooten, who's a sophomore. She's from Oregon. Don't know where she's going yet. Tina Gardner is from Oregon State. Lucy Olson from Villanova. Talia Scott from Arkansas. So there's definitely some options out there, Caleb. We'll see what Tennessee's able to get done under year number 1. And let's don't forget, there's something to be said when you're a younger coach about hitting the ground running and blowing people away with your work ethic, whether that's perceived incredible work ethic or for real. There's something to be said for that. So getting one soon, I don't believe really in recruiting momentum until it's something like this. I think you could be stuck on 0 and stuck on stagnant. They need to get off on stuck on 0 pretty quick.
Yeah, I actually believe in recruiting momentum more than you do, because I do think that if a coach is nailing a couple of pickups, don't you think other recruits are seeing, oh, they're building something special, I want to go be a part of that? Yeah. And if players are hitting the portal, recruits will be like, I might need to steer clear of that for a while. And so I do think that is a thing. We'll have to see how it goes with Caldwell. She adds a player or two, the momentum will pick up. But I will tell you this. Luckily, they're not that online because they're old. Sorry. But the lady, there is a strong Lady Vol contingency in Knoxville that I'm realizing is very unhappy about this hire. I don't know if you're aware of that, Dave, but there is a group of fans. Again, they're old, so they're not online, so the recruits don't see it. But you can get the vibe when you're in Knoxville, right?
The people we actually got the vibe on our message board one time. It kind of cropped up and then went away. I don't think they want to go outside the Pat Summit family. Getting back to Rick Barnes, let's say he does lose all these players to the portal, and he could technically take them back, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And then he craps out on some of these prospects, and Tennessee's a 15 or 16 win team. You know, Rick Barnes has prided himself on building a program with a strong foundation, but that's almost impossible nowadays. Would he be on the hot seat because his one strength of having a strong foundation could be gone because of the transfer portal?
I'll tell you what will put him on the hot seat. It actually goes back to the women's basketball side. If Kim Caldwell were to have a really successful first year, I mean, like do something like make an Elite 8 run, or even like what if she does? What if she goes crazy and makes the Final Four? Like as her first year as head coach of the Lady Vols, you could see Rick Barnes on the hot seat because Danny White would be so thoroughly confident in his hiring ability, as he already is, but it would go to another level. I'll give you an example. Mike Hamilton hired Bruce Pearl after firing Buzz Peterson, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 years later, he controversially fired Rod Delmonico. Don't you think he made that move because he was so confident in what he could do because of how successful he was with Bruce Pearl?
I don't know if confidence is the right word, but ability to throw some weight around, and Rod Delmonico was incredibly tough to work with.
Yeah, but Rod Delmonico had a 17-year career, was kind of a titan in Tennessee athletics, and Mike Hamilton literally said, nope, you're gone. I'm going for this Todd Raleigh who did not work out. And then what did he do a little later? He had the guts to fire Fulmer. And you know this, Dave. There's a lot of athletic directors that maybe wouldn't have had the guts. Now, I will, from what I've learned from you, doesn't seem like the way Hamilton fired Fulmer was handled right, honestly. Like, it sounded like he was preparing to fire Fulmer for a month before he actually pulled the trigger. But I will say that I think the success of Bruce Pearl made Mike Hamilton a lot more confident in what he could do, and gave him a lot more leverage to do what he wanted to do.
I think it gave him a lot more leverage and a lot more confidence to change head football coaches, which compared to everything else that you do is minuscule. I mean, that changing the football coach is the big thing.
That's your legacy.
Yeah, I mean, at Tennessee, it doesn't matter what else you do. You win 15. men's basketball championships, and they'll say, "What did he do at basketball?"